You're welcome to iRacing and the Interlagos circuit. We're going around in the Skip Barber. This is a 1.51.8 lap. Currently the fast time bracket is up to 1:52.3, so it's well within that. It's about it's half a second within that current bracket. This is a really good combination with this car. There's a lot. Let's see. There's two long straights. A lot of interesting, challenging corners. Quite a few markers around. One or two corners where you're not really going to have much use of markers. On this lap, there are a few mistakes I make. A few things I need to improve on. The optimal at the time I think was a 1:51.5. I got it down to a tow free 1:51.4 optimal. So there's plenty of room for improvement, but it's a pretty solid time and also a pretty solid line. But as always, there's plenty to improve. This was a fast lap done right at the start of the week, so I've kind of learned a few things. Never been able to beat the 51.8 though. I've hit that a few times, but not been able to get under it. But it's certainly it makes for a solid platform to build from, and I'll go through it lap by lap. Okay, here we are at turn 1. This is turn 1, 2 and 3. Now obviously you've got the 50 marker ahead. We're up in 5th gear at the moment. Just as we pass the 50, just as it goes out of our peripheral view here, quickly down 4/3, down into 2nd gear. There's you've got to kind of wrestle it round onto the curbing on the apex without spinning it. It's a fine balance. You don't want to be going too slow, but at the same time you've got to know where the point is in terms of speed and steering input, where you're going to spin it. It's very important you get it tight left on this apex to line yourself up for the turn 3. You got to take a lot off the inside on turn 3 in order to, you're trying to kind of straight lining it, you can't, I don't think you can straight line it, but you're trying to get it as straight as you possibly can. And then on turn 4, it's just, it's sticking real. The important thing about turn 4 is you're trying to really use all that rumble strip on the inside and really keep it tight on there, not roll out of the corner too early. We'll just go through it. Okay, as you can see, there's not an awful lot in terms of markers to it, at least that I've been able to pick out. It's just a feel thing. From here it's just fast, fast, fast all the way down. Okay, now here we are at turn 4. If you can see, just past the 100 marker, there's that little break in the grass, that concrete break in the grass. As I reach the end of that, brake hard down into 3rd gear. I just cannot find a turning marker here. Maybe that 50 marker might be the one, I don't know, but in fact, let's just, it's not even that, is it really? I mean, I was looking at if you look at the fence on the left, there's a kind of an X in there, but that's so far in your peripheral vision. But you kind of turn in I'll start to turn in. Let's see. Thinking on my feet here. It's kind of as you get parallel to it, but it's outside your peripheral vision, and there's really nothing else. Maybe as the let's see, as that green hook passes your line of sight on the inside, maybe that's something I should have been looking for future reference. Maybe when that disappears out your view on a single monitor. Maybe that's a turning point. It's a corner I've not quite figured out in terms of a turning point. Brake marker, I'm quite happy with it. Turning marker, that's, I think, is going to be about as good as it gets. It's a difficult corner because it's easier to just slide right and end up picking up a 1x. It's a really nasty 1x on exit here. When you exit this corner, I mean, first off, on the apex you want to take quite a bit out of it, but you don't want to cut across it. It's a late apex corner, so you want to get late on the apex. Use the rumble strip, the curbing on the right on exit, roll down there a fair bit, and then turn in. Again, I've not really seen a marker for turning in yet, but we'll see how that goes. So you're on the curbing. Again, can't really see a turning mark. It's kind of a feel thing. And you're then turning, going on, getting tight on that apex, and corner exit is the rumble strip on the exit. Okay, here we are. This is an interesting corner for me. I start to brake. If you look on the left is I think it's the Marshall station with a 10 on it. I presume that's number 10, Marshall station. As that goes out my peripheral vision, then I'm braking down into third gear. I think I'm in fourth gear right now. What I'm doing here is I'm getting tight on there are two apexes coming up, and I'm getting tight on them both. I think the best way is to actually not be tight on this first one, just to maybe half a car width to 3/4 maybe off the curbing. If you listen to my throttle, I get on the throttle, I come off it, then I get back on it again, and that's a mistake. I think if I slow it down a little bit more at this point, a little bit off the first curbing, then I'll be able to straight line it. But okay, exiting here, I'm actually too far to the right. I want to be further on to the left on that curbing, on the rumble strip. Okay, here again, then it's not so easy to find a brake marker. I do it on feel. What I'm trying to do, I brake a little bit further on than I am right now. The objective is to just pull it right. I mean, and you'll go down the first gear, then I want to pull it right and cut across the apex. Don't want to go too far left. I want to have a little bit of clearance on the left so I can turn it for the next one. Now you see here I'm a little bit too far to the left. I'd like to be a slight bit more on to the right. This next corner is kind of an awkward one. This whole section is where I tend to lose. Against my optimal, I usually lose 2 to 3 tenths. Want to be a little bit further left maybe, and then at least I should be straighter than I am right now. Brake, turn on this on the apex. I'm a little bit slow on the gas. I can be a little bit more aggressive, getting on a little bit earlier, but again, this is kind of a field corner. It's very difficult to find markers around here. Again, I should be further to the right. I should be on the rumble strip on the right, maximizing the speed. I'm a little bit probably too much wheel input, not enough gas, which cost me a little bit of time here. For me, it's just a sprint down. I'm going up for the gears. I think I end up in third gear. When I come to this little kind of right kink, I need to be right over on the left of the track. I'm not quite as far left as I should be. There you go. Once I get straightened up, I should be right tight up against that white line. But then, pretty much as soon as I'm straightened up, down to first gear, drag it across this apex and get onto the gas hard, using the rumble strip or the little bit of runoff, a little bit of pavement area on the left. See, the engine struggles a little bit there. I think maybe too much steering input, not enough gas going through it, something like that. So that's a corner I need to work on a little bit. If you look at that, I mean, I should be using more of that runoff there. But here I am. I'm about where I need to be. I've got a little bit of room to. You don't want to be too far left. You've got to have a little bit of room for the turn in here on the corner. The important thing is not to end up having to put in so much wheel input that you end up scrubbing off speed. Common for me here is to be in the green and maybe a couple of hundredths, 3 hundredths of a second up, and then, or even maybe a tenth, and then lose it all because I scrubbed the speed off, having to really put in a lot of input to avoid running wide on exit on the right. Yeah, very important here that you avoid going onto that green area, that solid green area. I can probably use a little bit more of that. The rumble strip at this point, but you've got to be very careful not to touch that green bit, or else that's a 1x. Once I get off here, then I'm trying to push wide right onto that kind of strange runoff, that light runoff area. Get as far right as you can on that with your right wheels, although you don't want to go on that light blue stuff. Just advance it slightly. See, I'm starting to push across there. Now let me just go back slightly. You can see as you come to it, in fact I'm going too far forward. You can see the lines across. They're kind of horizontal, horizontal lines going across that that kind of metalled runoff area. I tend to use those as my my brake markers. If you can see, there's like 1, 2, and then there's 2 bunched close together. I tend to brake between the 2 and, if you like, the 4. There's the number 3 kind of goes halfway across that area. Number 4 goes the whole way across, faintly all the way across. I tend to try to brake between the 2 of them, get it down to second gear. Then just as that light area starts to end, then I'm turning again, getting tight on the apex, and hard on the gas. Okay, the difficulty on that on the exit here is if you're too far wide right, you end up with your wheels in different sorts of surface, so you can end up spinning. I could use a little bit more on the right. You've just got to be careful, and just feel for, because as you can see, that rumble strip area has kind of like a textured area, then it's flat, so it's kind of one of those things where you have to try different approaches and find the one that actually works for you on there. The next corner, you want to be a little bit wide of this. You don't want to be tight on it, I don't think. Leave a little bit of room and then cut in on the cut across the. You're trying to straight line this section coming up. See, maybe a little bit too tight on that, but I'm just trying to have as minimal wheel input as possible. I run too far wide right there. You can be tighter on that, and here you just want to be tight on this. Don't try to pull it too far left, because that scrubs off speed too, and then it's just a run for the line. So that's a lap of Interlagos.